where do you sit on relationships with regards to what you do and how you can help others?
So interestingly enough, when I went back to the spiritual, the mental, the emotional, and the physical element, I've worked basically a formula that it doesn't matter what your niche is, and it doesn't matter what area you come to me for, you can do everything in one place because it's tailored to the individual and their own healing and their alignment.
Right.
So if you have a relationship problem, it's relationship to self. What we have to do is work out what that relationship to self looks like and work on it from there. If you have money issues, it's self-worth and self-value, but it's still the same principle. It's finding out your alignment and what's in there that isn't you. And then what we do is we break the structure down. And then if you go on to like health and fitness, well, why are you carrying extra weight around? Because you're carrying somebody else's problems that aren't yours. So we don't need to necessarily work on it linear 3D physical in terms of diet and nutrition or exercise. We work on the emotional behavior, which is generally stored in the stomach or that second chakra, and that's where it builds up and gains. So when we work on that and we release it, we can then get ourselves into a position whereby we can get better gains and we can physically train the body. So you can work on pretty much, or rather this is my method that I use based on disjointed learning. And you basically get yourself to a position whereby you can come to me with a physical ailment, you can come to me with any mental health problem, you can come to me with relationship issues, you can literally do shadow work, inner healing. It's basically against the norm. It's an all-in-one, under one roof shop for you actually self-actualizing or self-realizing.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter if it goes into business or if it goes into anything else.
Doesn't really matter, does it? Yeah.
Process.
Okay. Yeah. So with your business, Chris, obviously, would you work worldwide? Would you work on a Zoom meeting, or would you work one-on-one do you have to be in your presence, or is there like distant healing? I know because I do Reiki distant healing. All right. Yeah. So
all of my stuff has the energetic component, which is over, as long as I can see you and I'm connected, then I can clear bits of energy in terms of looking at that. I can connect long distance in terms of Akashic records. I can basically talk to your subconscious. I can gather information on my side. So all of it is remote. If you're in person, then it may or may not magnify the effect, but I haven't found a negative connotation with working in person or online. So a lot of kind of my people that I work with at the minute are remote, and I've got somebody over in Oregon of America, like Portland area. So I work with her, and she's come on leaps and bounds, dealing with all her traumas. I've got somebody who's up the road from me, for instance. We haven't met, but we obviously do a lot of work online, and in 2 weeks, she's literally just a whole new person. And all of this stuff, it's like we've got the physical elements that we're working on that medical society says there's no cure for, and we're curing them, like the lady in America. We're reducing her diabetes, we're getting her off medication. She's now down from 4 of those to 2 of those. And like we're slowly piecing these jigsaw pieces together to get people off medication so they're no longer feeding into the corporate system and naturally going to more holistic healing methods. And literally
freedom fighters fighters.
I'm trying to get to the stage whereby I can push this out worldwide, but obviously my limited languages will prohibit certain areas. But
this is the platform for it. This is what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Trying to get it out. So you're and do you are you word of mouth at the moment, Chris, or you just how did you start out? You just sort of put it out there because you said you didn't really do social media a lot. Did you?
A lot of my stuff was word of mouth, and it was people who knew people, and then obviously they were getting results, and then they were going off into sort of the wider world. But you've got really silly things that come up, like somebody running a business that can't move forward, but then there's relations to like emotional eating, which then puts a barrier up. But then that's linked to conditioning from like being in a swimming pool from years and years ago, which then stops them moving their business forward, and then they self-sabotage. And it's like, you can't write some of these things, but kind of having worked with a lot of people, like some of these stories, it's like you could never go to like your standard therapist and do this stuff. So the work that I have is huge on a scale, but currently I'm in that word of mouth phase, and then I'm building the socials on TikTok, Insta, and YouTube. So
love that. You're part of our crew now, and mate, we're honored to have you. We're gonna